LA voters might veto the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles based on a ballot measure that's coming up for a vote. I want to bring up this story. This is from the LA Times. So, proposed ballot measure could force a citywide vote on LA 2028 Olympic venues. City officials fear the proposal, if it reaches the ballot and voters approve it, would force elections on several 2028 Olympic venues. LA's plan to host the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games was already facing a thorny set of challenges, including the scramble to secure lucrative sponsorships in the search for buses to shuttle athletes and spectators across the region. Now organizers could soon be faced with yet another threat, a proposed ballot measure that, according to city officials, could force at least 5 Olympic venues to go before voters for approval. Unite Here Local 11, which represents hotel and restaurant workers, filed paperwork in June for a ballot measure requiring LA voters to sign off on the development or expansion of major event centers such as sports arenas, concert halls, hotels, and convention facilities. The measure takes aim not just at permanent projects, but also temporary structures, including those that add more than 50,000 square feet of space or 1,000 seats. Quote, the proposed measure would make vital projects essential for our city in these games potentially impossible to complete. Here has built a proposal as one of the responses to a business group that is seeking to overturn the so-called Olympic wage passed by the city council in May, which hikes the minimum wage for hotel and airport workers up to $30 an hour in 2028. $30 an hour for hotel and airport workers in Los Angeles by 2028. If you have no idea what that's going to do to business overall for Los Angeles, forget the Olympics, because you'll have a bump for the Olympics if it actually goes through and it isn't a complete calamity. But what happens after the Olympics are over and all these hotel stuff to pay everyone $30 an hour, or airport has to pay everyone $30 an hour? It's not going to go well. That's what I can tell you right now. $30 an hour is an astronomically high minimum wage. It says voters should have been given the opportunity to decide whether LA should host the Olympics from the very beginning, said Eric Sheehan, spokesperson for No Olympics, which opposes the 2028 games. Nevertheless, Sheehan voiced little enthusiasm for the union proposal, saying it doesn't go far enough. What would be stronger would be the chance for Angelenos to vote on whether or not we want the Olympics at all, he said. So this proposal, if it goes before the voters, has to approve all these different venues that are going to be happening in preparation for the 2020 Olympics or 2028 Olympics. If they vote a lot of this down, it might be impossible to actually host the Olympics in Los Angeles. I did want to take a quick look at a video from this No Olympics because they lay out sort of the myths that are surrounding it, why they sell the Olympics, why cities should have the Olympics, and it's not always a win-win for the entire city. I had to look it up and I had to do some research, and I was wondering if there was ever any city that had if there was sort of a precedent for a city to lose the Olympics. Like they were deemed to get the Olympics or were supposed to host the Olympics, and then they lost it because of certain things. I took out all the ones that had to do with like World War I and World War II, because a lot of them had to do with like they were being hosted in Europe and it was World War I, then it was World War II, and then there was supposed to be Moscow, which was the Cold War. So take those out because that's war. I wanted to see if there was any place that had ever lost it because of any sort of internal strife or the city couldn't handle it. And it turns out there was. In 1970, Denver was supposed to be hosting the 1976 Olympics. In 1970, the International Olympic Committee chose Denver to be the host of the Winter Olympic Games. On November 7, 1972, Colorado voters, concerned about the financial burden and environmental impact of the Olympic Games on their state, rejected a $5 million bond issue that would fund the event. Shortly thereafter, Innsbruck, Austria, replaced Denver as the host of the 1976 Winter Olympics. So there you have it. There is an example of what happens if voters get involved and all of a sudden say, whoa, hold on a sec. We don't approve this. We don't approve you building this or building that or using taxpayer money or whatever that we have to do and put up with all this and make it impossible for them to actually host the Olympic Games. So when I say that LA voters could actually veto the LA Olympics, there is a possibility that LA voters could do this. And I think there is more of a possibility, especially now when you think of what's going on with Karen Bass and the wildfires and homelessness and all of this stuff that's happening in Los Angeles. You kind of sit back and wonder, are they going to punish their administration and City Hall and Karen Bass for how badly they've managed Los Angeles, especially this ballot measure coming up soon. Does it show that voters might punish her and say, you're not going to get the Olympics? You can't handle the wildfires. You can't handle homelessness. You can't handle crime. You can't handle all this stuff. Yet you want us to bail you out on the Olympics and give you all of this stuff just so you can host the Olympics here in 2028. I think there is a real possibility that voters could punish Karen Bass and the rest of City Hall up in Los Angeles and make it impossible that they don't have the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that there is a possibility that voters in LA actually veto the Olympics by making it nearly impossible to host the Olympics in Los Angeles? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.